Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Myself, made my favorite shooting. We just recently came back from the National Archives in Washington, D.C. Now, we already know about the United States Army's document number 49 from 1944, where they captured some of these comfort women, and in the report states that they were well-paid prostitutes and that they were well-treated by the Japanese Imperial military. Well, this week we uncovered 3 more documents at the National Archives, and these documents was the United States Army's translation of Japanese Imperial Army operational manuals in different parts of the empire. And in Section 9 of these manuals, it addresses the issue of brothels, the comfort stations. And it mentions in there that the women were recruited and how they were to be treated. It also mentions as part of the regulations that the women had to be medically examined once a week. Not only were they to be examined, but so was the proprietor and his wife, meaning the civilian proprietor and his wife were to be medically examined. Now, in these houses of prostitution or comfort stations, there was 3 levels of comfort women. And each level, the Japanese soldier paid a different price for. At the top of the level was Japanese comfort women, there was Chinese comfort women, and there was Korean comfort women. So are we to understand that the Japanese Imperial Army took their own Japanese women into sexual slavery, forced them? No, they were recruited just like the Chinese and the Koreans, and they were mixed together in the same comfort stations because they were all volunteers. Now, as was mentioned earlier, some were sold by their parents, but they weren't forced by the military into these positions. But let's put aside these documents, all right? Let's just say these documents never existed. It doesn't pass the logic test. Let's insert some logic into this. If 200,000 women were forced into sexual slavery off the Korean Peninsula, let's extrapolate that to today in the United States. Compared with the population, that would mean a foreign force came into the United States and extracted 3 million American women into sexual slavery. Where did the Korean men know that happen? We know the American men did not stand for it, and if the American men did stand for it, we know our women wouldn't stand for it. So where were they? I'll tell you where they were. They were in line at the Japanese Imperial Army recruiting stations looking to join the Japanese Imperial Army. Why would Korean men volunteer to join the Japanese Imperial Army, the very army that supposedly extracted 200,000 of their women into sexual slavery? We also have President Park of South Korea today. Her father served in the Japanese Imperial Army. He joined the Japanese Imperial Army, not as a regular soldier. He served with such distinction, he rose to the officer ranks, and he was in charge of an imperial unit that did so many Manchuria. Years later, after the war, he became the president of South Korea. How is that? So that's right. We have the documents that prove otherwise, and it also doesn't pass the logic test. Thank you.